You know that old saying from the playground? Finders keepers, losers weepers? We all know it. But what does the law actually have to say about it? Well, let's unpack the surprisingly tricky legal truth behind that simple rhyme.
Okay, let's just jump right into a scenario. Imagine this. You're walking around minding your own business and you spot a gold bracelet just sitting there on the floor. The owner is nowhere to be seen. So who gets to keep it? You, the person who owns the property where you found it? To figure that out, we actually need to look at one single, really fascinating legal case.
And this isn't just some made-up law school question. The answer we use today comes from a real-life story, a real bracelet that was found and set a legal precedent we still follow.
All right, so let's set the scene. The year is 1982. We're at London's Heathrow Airport, inside the exclusive British Airways Executive Lounge. So, it's a private space, just for certain passengers waiting for their flights.
A man named Parker is in the lounge, and as he's waiting, something on the carpet catches his eye. He bends down, and what does he find? A gold bracelet. And it's pretty obvious this thing is valuable. Now, Mr. Parker, he does the right thing. Instead of just slipping it into his pocket, he walks it over to an airline employee. The goal? To get it back to its actual owner. And this is the most important part of the whole story. As he hands the bracelet over, he leaves his name and address, and he makes a very simple, very clear request. If the original owner never comes to claim it, he wants it back. And that one little condition, it ends up changing everything. Yeah, because what started out as this simple, honest act, it totally snowballs into a full-blown legal showdown. It's the individual guy versus this giant airline corporation. So some time goes by, and guess what? The true owner of the bracelet is never found. Nobody ever comes forward. But does British Airways give it back to Mr. Parker? Nope. Instead, they sell the bracelet for £850 and just pocket the cash. And that's when things really kicked off. Mr. Parker sued them. His argument was pretty straightforward. Look, the real owner is gone, so as the guy who found it, I'm next in line. But British Airways fought back hard, saying, no way, it was found in our private lounge, so we have the better claim. So you've got two arguments that both sound kind of logical, right? The rights of the finder versus the rights of the property owner. So which one do you think the court decided was stronger? The case lands in front of a judge, and it's his job to basically clear up this whole messy area of the law once and for all. And the verdict came down. The court sided with the little guy. Mr. Parker won his case. The airline had to pay him what the bracelet was worth. And the judge didn't just give a verdict. He laid out this really powerful principle. Basically, if you find something that's lost, you get a right to it that is better than anyone else's in the entire world. Well, with one very important exception, the actual true owner. But hold on, it wasn't just a simple win for finders everywhere. The judge's decision wasn't just, finders keepers, case closed. He threw in this huge unless that created an absolutely critical exception to the rule. And this landmark decision is what gave us what's now known as the Parker Rule, the legal test that's used to sort out these kinds of arguments between finders and property owners, even today. So what are finders' rights? Let's boil it down. It just means that if you find something that's lost, your legal claim to it is stronger than anybody else's, except, of course, for the person who actually lost it in the first place. Okay, so the judge created this super clear two-part test. It's actually pretty simple. Part 1. The person who finds the item, by default, they have the strongest claim. But, and this is the big but, that rule gets flipped on its head if the owner of the property can prove they had a clear system in place to control lost items. And this is the exact reason British Airways lost. The judge looked at their policies and found, well, nothing. They didn't have a formal lost and found system. They didn't regularly search for lost things. So in the eyes of the law, they had not exercised control. That meant Mr. Parker's right as the finder was still number one. Okay, so that's a pretty cool legal story from 1982, right? But what on earth does this case from the UK have to do with you in your day-to-day life? Well, it all comes down to that idea of control. Think about it. If you find a ring on a walkway in a public park, the city's control over that spot is super low. Your claim as the finder is probably going to be pretty strong. Now, what about a coffee shop? That's kind of medium control, right? It would probably depend on whether they have a clear lost and found policy. But the floor of a bank vault, that is maximum control, and the bank's claim would almost certainly beat yours.
So, here's the big takeaway, the most important thing to remember from all this. The real legal question isn't so much about where you find something. It's all about whether the owner of that place has shown a clear intent to control that space and everything in it. That's the deciding factor.
All right, let's wrap this up with one last little puzzle for you. You're in a supermarket parking lot, and you find a wallet sitting in a shopping cart. Using the Parker rule, who do you think has the better legal claim to it? After the true owner, of course. Is it you, or is it the supermarket? What do you think?